Life is a lie with an F in it, death the only definite. This I understand. I understand that I am nothing more than a broken clock, right twice a day, and the only times that I can admit that I am right is when I fully know that I am wrong. It's strange, isn't it? But if there's one thing I know to be true, it's that life is defined by the lessons you leave once you leave this earth. So, if I should die tonight, do not bury me. For the last memory you'll have is of me being laid to rest, covered from all the dirt that will spill, from me no longer guarding the skeletons inside my closet. Instead, have me cremated. Use my ashes to fill up fireworks so that everyone may gather on top of the highest hill and feel the breeze, dance around like a kabuki clown while looking up into the sky as I say my final goodbye. And if you still feel lost after that, that's totally fine. Open my safe, the contents of which, my birth certificate, my ID photograph, and other paper trail paraphernalia. I would love it if you could draw on them with snazzy names like Captain Obvious or even Maurice, as those names seem a little bit more representative of my identity than the name I have kept locked so firmly in a safe. Better yet, steal my identity. I'm not gonna need it. Grow a scraggly beard and wear a bad toupee so my ID photograph looks legit with you. Then get a credit card and buy a car and ride off into the random sunset with the road map fluttering behind your speeding wheels. But please, no matter where you go, do not go overboard, as there are people that I don't know of that love you more than you will ever know, and you do not need to destroy yourself to try and prove it to be true. Trust me on that one. And if you still feel lost and on the side of the road, stuck watching the tumbleweeds go with the bitter winds of change, that's fine. We all feel lost. So place a globe somewhere as my memorial. Go to it whenever you feel the need for direction. Spin it like a basketball until it falls on its axis. Maybe then I can teach you that direction is unnecessary. Most times all it takes is leaving your house and shaking your world upside down to find out where you really need to be. But please, no matter what you think you've said or done, never diminish the beats of your own drum. Simply strengthen the presence in which you present them so that others may dance around freely and comfortably alongside you. See yourself as a free-wielding agent of the universe capable of many wonderful things, love being the greatest of which. Know that you are only bound by your doubts and expectations, so cut those shackles, babes, and believe in yourself and set a course for high heaven, because that is where we belong. And know that if I should die tonight, I am not writing this to hear myself talk later. I'm writing this to refresh my memory on the delicate intricacies of a ladybug crawling up the dewy stem of a flower and how we are equally fragile. How I am the sum of all of my experiences, but what defines me is not my past, but my heart, much like yours does too. So if I should die tonight, approach it as you would any other death, with sadness and longing, but that is just part of our human reality. But know that if you know me, the one lesson I have tried to leave in this world is to make you feel as loved as you've made me feel. So if I should go tonight, kick the bucket, fall in some dirt, get buried by it, which goes against rule number 1, don't do that. I want you to just follow these rules, please. First off, love yourself. Then find a lover. Then grab their hand. And after you guys have ditched the car that you've bought in my name, run to the highest hill where there will be a jukebox. Place your quarter inside of it so you may listen to Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. Serenade me as I get shot into the sky in a fireworks display. But before I go, you're going to need my safe key. And here's a thank you note for allowing me to feel loved in this world that we live in. Thank you. I've got 3 minutes? Okay. What's another poem I could do? Oh, crap, I've got so many. Gotcha. Uplifting or kind of bitter and dark? I'm going to go with uplifting, because that seems to fit the motif of things. Unless you want to hear why Nietzsche is the father of modern comedy. No? Okay. It's a good one. Dear Edith Piaf, the moment you were born in the doorway of some long-forgotten shop, your mother screamed in agony while the pavement was the first thing to hold you. From that moment on, life was defined as a Molotov cocktail served in a champagne bottle. Your spirit, the bowl, your body, the china shop. You were blinded from conitis as a child and abandoned into the hands of your grandmother's brothels, where the women sold their bodies in ways that made the devil wince. And as a lonely baby screaming from a crib, the angels listened but did nothing, as your voice was that beautiful, but God's ways just that mysterious. Soon enough, you were 7 years old, and you had heard the girls calling out for a miracle many times before, but for the first time, you could see the heavily caked makeup carrying the velvet voices of the women who had raised you. It was a miracle under a godless roof, and from that point on, you sang for the downtrodden, the hurt, and the rejected, because that was the pain from whence you came. And you sang for the lovers who were ripped from your arms and for the ones that ripped your heart right off your sleeve and ran away. You sang on bitter days when Hitler invaded France and on cold winter nights when lonesome bodies were left to go to bed alone. You sang when there was nothing left for you or your country. You sang because you held out hope. So, Madame Piaf, how did you do it? I ask because I've grown a heart. I have a heart that's grown bark, carved with initials I can't erase. I've learned to drink like a fish with a hook in its mouth. I'm constantly nervous and perpetually lonely, and kept awake from nightmares of a little boy locked in a bedroom with tin-foiled windows, a wet bed, and a heavy-handed shadow man awaiting to play patty cake with his belt. I've learned attachment issues with an obsessive mind, so I'm constantly writing the same "I wish you were here" postcards out of the same "I'm sorry I did this again, I'm sorry I did this again." This is just the same apology letter written 14 different times, and because you got close and I got scared, and I cannot help but feel hurt every time I try and feel connected to someone. But Madame Piaf, this is one of those nights when lightning strikes twice out of spite and I'm left withdrawing into the nervous alien wearing my skin. Madame Piaf, this is one of those nights where I'm trying to collect the pieces like fall leaves left on a sidewalk kicked up by a bitter wind. Madame Piaf, this would be one of those nights where you would sing out with the force of 1,000 brass bells because this was the stuff that your hope was made out of. These are the circumstances that create my hope. This is the voice that we can only give the world. Knowing what it is like to feel chewed up and spit out without any reasoning or logic behind it, but yet you sang, and you have inspired the world to do the same. So, Madame Piaf, merci, avec tout mon cœur, merci. Because no, regret nothing, rien de rien, rien de rien.